There is a moment in the Bible that most people have read many times, a moment that is mentioned in just one verse, in one chapter, and then the story moves on. Most people read it and keep going without stopping to think about what it actually means. But when you stop and look at it closely, when you examine what the Bible is actually describing in that single verse, what you find will completely change how you understand the cross, how you understand Jesus, and how you understand what God was willing to go through because of how much He loves you. We are going to the Garden of Gethsemane. The night before, everything changed. The night before the arrest, before the trial, before the crucifixion, the night that most people skip over because they are in a hurry to get to the cross. But what happened in that garden, in the darkness, alone, before anyone even knew what was coming? That is the hidden detail that changes everything. It was late at night in Jerusalem. Jesus and his 12 disciples had just finished sharing the Last Supper together in an upper room in the city. Jesus had already told them that one of them would betray him. He had already broken the bread and poured the wine and told them to remember him. The mood was heavy. Something was in the air that none of them could fully understand yet, except for Jesus, who knew exactly what the next few hours would bring. After supper, Jesus led them out of the city, through the gates of Jerusalem and across the Kidron Valley to a garden at the foot of the Mount of Olives. This garden was called Gethsemane. It was a familiar place. Jesus had been there many times before with his disciples. It was a quiet, private place, filled with ancient olive trees that had been growing there for hundreds of years, their trunks massive and twisted, their branches stretching wide under the night sky. It was the kind of place a person goes when they need to be alone with God. When they arrived at the garden, Jesus asked most of his disciples to sit down and wait near the entrance. He took only 3 of them, Peter, James, and John, and went deeper into the garden with him. And then, even from those 3, he separated himself and went a little further on alone. He needed to be completely alone. What he was about to face was something no one else could share with him. No one else could help him carry it. It was his alone to carry. And then Jesus said something to Peter, James, and John that we must not rush past. He said to them, and this is Matthew chapter 26, verse 38, he said, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." Read that again slowly. My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. This is Jesus speaking, the Son of God, the one who had walked on water, the one who had raised Lazarus from the dead after 4 days in the tomb, the one who had healed the blind, the lame, the leper. And he is standing in a garden, in the dark of night, telling his 3 closest friends that the sorrow he is carrying in that moment is so heavy, so crushing, so overwhelming, that it could literally kill him. Not the cross, not the nails, not the physical suffering that was coming, the sorrow itself, the weight of what he was about to face, was already in that moment enough to end his life. He then walked a little further into the garden, away from even those 3 disciples, and he fell face down on the ground, not to his knees, face down, arms outstretched, forehead pressed into the dry, rocky earth. In the ancient world, falling face down before God was the posture of total surrender, total humility, total desperation. And Jesus, the Son of God, was there, face down in the dirt, alone in the dark, praying with everything he had. He prayed, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me." Let that sink in for a moment. Jesus asked his Father if there was another way. if there was any other path, if the plan could somehow change. He was not pretending. He was not performing. This was real. The weight of what he was about to take on was so immense, so incomprehensible, that even he, even the Son of God, asked if there was another way through. And this is exactly where the hidden detail appears. This is the verse that most people read too quickly. Luke chapter 22, verse 44. And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. His sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. Now here is what you need to understand. Luke, the man who wrote these words, was not a poet. He was not writing metaphor or exaggeration. Luke was a physician, a trained, educated medical doc.